Welcome to Maiden Mother Crone 333, a podcast with intentions to create a safe, sacred space of open discussion as a free resource on spiritual topics for awakened souls and a healing, helping, and guiding practice. Disclaimer: this podcast is for spiritual, educational, and entertainment purposes only. It is not meant to substitute medical care, psychological, financial, or legal counseling.
Welcome. We are going to do an introduction to ourselves so you know who is talking to you and where our practice comes from. My name is Roxanne. I am a medium and a healer. I don't know, how long have I been on this journey? Maybe 5 years, I think, like when I actually truly started to awaken and open. I've been a medium my entire life, but I didn't start to actually embrace it until about 5 years ago. What's interesting is we are all just like normal people. I think that there's a myth out there that when you have somebody who's spiritual and they're woo woo, that's all they do is they walk around and talk about crystals and healing. But all of us are just normal, average people. We're all moms, we all have regular jobs, but we all have like a spiritual practice as well. And being in tune with yourself is super important. My history, I always knew that I was a helper, that I was supposed to be helping to heal people. So my history is that I started work as like a social worker. I was an advocate for victims of violent crime. I did like investigations of child abuse. I helped in a lot of like any trigger word that you can think of is the field that I worked in. And legal as well, legal advocacy for victims. And then about a couple of years ago, I feel like I kind of burned out from that. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of taking on other people's trauma. I want to help in a different way because I know that I'm still a helper. And that's when I really embraced my mediumship and my healing abilities because I knew that I wanted to help people in a different way than I was doing it. And it's been a beautiful journey. I've learned so much. I've helped a lot of people in the spiritual way, and I don't have to hurt myself anymore as I move forward and heal people in this way. I have a regular job. I work at the post office now. I said I'm done with all of that other stuff. And I love having like the regular job because it helps keep me grounded and in tune with life around me, in tune with the community, in tune with society. And I practice my spirituality. It's part of my life. It's not something that I go and do on the side. It's just something that I integrate into my life. It's part of who we are. And I think we're going to talk about that a lot in this podcast, how we integrate that into like our regular, I call it my human life, my muggle life. So that's me. I guess I started my spiritual journey because it was divine timing. Spirit said it's time. They brought some stuff into my life that I couldn't handle on my own, and I had to reach out and ask for spiritual help. And then I was introduced to a mentor in a spiritual community, and that really helped me as I came into my own being. So that's me. Kari, would you like to go next?
Hi, my name is Kari. Um, Much like Roxanne, I have been very intuitive and connected to the spiritual world my whole life. But again, my journey started 5 years ago. Um, I have always been very empathic, and that was something I felt like I struggled with my whole life, especially as a child and now entering my spiritual journey. I really learned how to like hone in on those abilities and use them to my benefit and the benefit of other people rather than being like a sponge for energy 24/7. And I feel like that was a huge part of um, why this journey even happened for me, because I was a very anxious person, and learning to control that and not absorb everything around me has been life changing. Um, I also have been a helper my whole life, but I also have been very interested in design since I was a child. And that is actually what I do as my full-time job. I am a boutique owner. I am a seamstress. I make clothing. Everything that I sell is handmade by me, besides denim, because I'm not going to make jeans. That's very difficult. But then I also have my spiritual business. I offer Reiki sessions, I do readings. I am also a certified herbalist, so I do make some skincare, and hopefully I will expand on all of that one day. Um, Really, my journey again was divine timing, because I was always interested in the spiritual world. I knew there was more out there, and I would get readings done, and the mediums would tell me that I was able to do this myself. And I would ask them, well, how do I get started? And no one would ever help me. And it was so frustrating. But again, enter divine timing 5 years ago, where Roxanne just popped into my office. She was not even someone I really ever spoke to at work very often. And she just said, hey, this class is starting. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And that was where everything just like snowballed and totally opened up. And my life really changed from there, for the better. But that's me. I'm Kari. Hope, do you want to go?
Sure. Okay, so my name's Hope. I don't know, I'll try to keep this very brief, but I started seeing spirit when I was around 7 or 8 years old. Had a lot of transformations throughout my life, didn't really understand it because I was very young. Had some stuff happen in my 20s where I shut it off because it was very scary happenings. And then going into my 30s and especially my 40s, I started to have my spiritual awakening. So I've been on this journey, like deep dive into it since for about almost 6 years now. And it's definitely been a whirlwind, but it has helped a lot with my own anxieties and learning how to meditate and connect with the divine. And like the other two said, Roxanne and Kari, it is all about divine timing. And I was going through a very profound shift in my life, especially back in like 2015, 16. And it just took off from there. And I've just been holding on tight ever since. I feel like now with the more knowledge and the learning that I have acquired through the years and the training and the practice and the lessons and the teachings, I definitely feel like I'm riding the wave a little bit smoother now, but it definitely was, it definitely shook me up, but it was time to awaken. It was time to see things differently, especially in the world, and see how we can bring healing to the world and those around us. And yeah. So little side note, I don't really like being on camera. So it's gonna take me a little while to like, it's like being on an answering machine. I'm like, hi, this is Hope, blah, 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 blah. And then I have to hang up or delete the message because it gives you that option because I just like ramble. So I have a lot more to say about the spiritual awakening, but we're gonna stop right there.
Hope, do you want to talk briefly about what you do in your everyday life, or no, that's okay if you don't want to?
No, I think I'm gonna leave that part out for right now,
Okay.
only because that's scrutinized enough in the public's eye. So I'm just gonna leave that out.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, that is us. That's the introduction to who is giving you this information. So we are going to leave that there, and then we're going to hop into our first episode where we can talk about everything that comes along with awakening and what that actually means. So we leave that with you with love and light.